This moment asks more from those of us who care about national parks.
More than 300 parks across America will be forced to close down.
Many wonder, are we ready for what comes next? Since day one, the National Parks Conservation Association has been preparing for moments like this. It began with the belief that it would be the people who would save our national parks. This belief was never our finish line. It was the first step. Because belief alone won't protect parks. That requires expertise, persistence, mobilization. Things we're pretty familiar with. Over 100 years of protecting iconic places and stories and championing new ones. Our logo may have one fewer bear, but we've got more supporters than ever. 1.9 million strong, working all around the country, creating real change in communities, in courtrooms, and on Capitol Hill. We know our victories may be challenged, but we endure. Because we're building a future where parks truly belong to everyone. With healthier ecosystems, public will that outweighs private interest, and the full truth of our history, told without apology. Our common ground, our heritage, our parks. And so to those who wonder, are we ready for what comes next? You bet we are. Since day one, made for this moment.
The question was NPCA and are we ready for the moment? And indeed, we were made for this moment. Hello everyone, welcome to NPCA's Day of Action live stream. My name is Terius Harris. I'm the Senior Program Manager for NPCA's Midwest Regional Office. I'm based in Chicago, where I have the wonderful privilege of working with Pullman National Historical Park. But today, I'm joining you from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'll be your host today. Thank you so much for joining as we gather in person across the country and online to celebrate and advocate for America's national parks. This week is National Park Week, and today is the 110th anniversary of the National Park Service. Established in 1916 by President Woodrow Wilson, a true visionary for what our country could become, since then, the National Park System has grown to more than 430 units, featuring landscapes, cultural and heritage sites across the United States. And little known fact, NPCA was founded just 3 years later by two men behind the creation of the National Park Service. Right from the start, they knew and understood that our parks would need an independent, nonpartisan voice. Because although they are so amazing and beautiful, and they make us all feel very different things, they can't speak for themselves. And for more than 100 years, NPCA has been that voice. Today, we're going to share some of NPCA's work protecting and advocating for our national parks. We'll be joined live by NPCA staff and supporters who are gathered across the country. And shortly, we're taking you to NPCA staff on the ground in DC, who will be delivering petition signatures to the Department of Interior, calling on the agency to restore critical staffing needed to support our parks. We're also going to hear from NPCA staff at parks and gateway communities around the country, including Garfield National Historical Park, Big Bend National Park, and many others. We'll also have a special discount code for all of you for the NPCA store that can be used for 10% off your purchase through the end of National Park Week. More to come on that very shortly. But as many of you already know, it is America's 250th anniversary. And this marks the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, a pivotal moment for national reflection and for envisioning the country's future. NPCA's United by Parks campaign is an opportunity for all of us to commemorate America through the lens of our national parks, connect with most treasured places, and imagine what we would lose if they disappear, and hopefully take action to protect them. Our United by Parks artist sessions also includes 5 artists from across the country, each transforming a blank canvas and one letter from the word parks into a personal piece symbolizing their vision from our national parks. Together, they make up a larger, even more beautiful picture that is united by parks. Our first artist, Aaron Zuplo, who brings us his creative vision and creativity from Joshua Tree National Park in the California desert. Let's take a look.
I think that's what Joshua Tree and all the national parks do, is serve as this baseline for You know, this is what it would look like if we weren't here. And it's nice to have that baseline because it's so beautiful. My name is Aaron Zolpo. I am an artist. I was born in Illinois, and now I live in Dana Point, California. Being an artist and going out and capturing nature is, especially here in the United States, is an act of preserving. And every time you make a painting about this, you're kind of making a stance. You're saying, look, this is really important. It's inspiring. So when I'm in Joshua Tree, it's very quiet. It's very calm. And everything seems like everything can be identified as its own character, as almost as it's framed. So it's really easy for me to hone into on a tree or a rock. By observing things that I enjoyed, I could basically research why I liked it. Like why do I even look at something? And that helps me grow in my painting practice because nature is pretty versatile, and every time you go out, you can capture something new or experience something new, and it does affect you long term. Painting is a pretty slow process for most people, so it makes you sit in one spot, look at it, but you build memories, and those memories will help inspire other people to come out and paint. That will help people come and want to preserve the national park. So I think painting is a perfect way to experience the national park. For the next 250 years for the parks, I just hope they continue to expand and more people get to go see them, and their importance is never forgotten.
We're grateful for our members and supporters who signed our petition and help support our ongoing work to protect current parks and help establish new sites across the country. You can become a member today by visiting npca.org/give/join. Your membership includes subscription to our quarterly National Parks magazine, exclusive access to park notes, a newsletter filled with the latest news of NPCA's work and events, important issues affecting our national parks, and actions you can take to help. A free welcome gift and a 10% discount of the NPCA Park store is also included. And what an incredible perspective from Aaron. We'll have more from the United by Parks campaign coming up shortly. Now, we're going live to Washington, D.C. to check in with Charlie Olson, who is part of our government affairs team. Hey, Charlie, it's great to see you.
Thanks, Darius. Hi, everybody. I'm Charlie Olson. I'm here outside the Department of Interior with a petition signed by over 1,000 national park lovers across the country. This petition is going to urge President Trump and Secretary Doug Burgum to reverse their drastic cuts to national park staffing across the country.
I'm sure folks on the live stream have been hearing a lot about staffing shortages recently, but what does the park staffing crisis actually look like right now?
Yeah, that's a great question, Darius. So the park staffing crisis may not be too evident when people get a lot of the park cuts have been staffed behind. In January of 2025, the Park Service lost 25% of full-time positions. That's about 4,000 staff positions. Behind to protecting national local that makes the national park service.
And I'm very curious, how have these massive staffing cuts impacted what visitors see on the surface? I know many of us love our national parks and love to visit all the time, but we may not always see what this looks like or experience it depending on which national park we visit, as well as what's happening on the ground and not happening behind the scenes.
Like I said before, there may not be visual for some of these staff cuts. A lot of the staff cuts come. So the real impact may not be felt next year. That's one of the hard problems here, is that staff are doing the hard work behind it. textbook resources make the park what it is. These are staff that were essential for wildlife conservation, for having fires, care of. These were the staff that would protect the resources. And without them, we're going to see that over the long term, these resources will degrade as more and more people fall apart.
And for everyone watching live right now, what is the single most important thing they can do to get Congress to act?
Yeah, so right now I'm about to go inside to the Department of the Interior to drop off. After that, the single most important thing is to sign NPCA secondary petition urging members of Congress to act to secure park staffing and increase park. Make sure that the
And that's just one great example of what we do at NPCA when we talk about our advocacy work and policy work and government affairs work. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask about the humanity behind the national parks themselves. I'm very curious that what do national parks mean to you personally? And what's one takeaway you hope people carry with them after today's Day of Action?
That's a great question, Carrie. Personally, I grew up on Long Island. I spent my summer days going to the Fire Island, shout out Strong Island. And it wasn't until high school that I saw my first mountain. And as an adult, I've been really fortunate enough to be able to go out west and see the most splendid landscapes that the country has to offer. And those landscapes exist now in the ways they have been protected by the national. It is one of the most popular things that the government does across the board, bipartisan popularity. It brings people together. It has the ability to inspire people. I think what we need now is ensure that Park Service has to build that method so we aren't the generation that makes continue to protect the place.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Charlie. And honestly, I think all of us have our own personal connection and story to our national parks, which really emphasizes why they are so important to protect. Thank you so much, Charlie, and we'll check back in with you later in the live stream. I know I already talked about what our NPCA membership looks like, but I also wanted to mention that we're also giving all of our live stream viewers access to our exclusive discount by using our code Day of Action, all capital letters, to receive 10% off through the end of National Park Week. Also, if you're looking for other ways to get involved, we invite you to visit npca.org/dayofaction where you can sign our letter to Congress, find our NPCA events happening through the end of the National Park Week, and learn more about NPCA's work to protect our national parks across the country. Many of you, I'm certain, have stories just like Charlie's that are just as impactful. And we not only want to hear what those are at NPCA, we want to share them with Congress to inform them why they should be protecting our national parks and holding America's greatest treasure close to them as well. Next, we're going to take a look at the recent victory for national parks, the establishment of the Blackwell School National Historic Site. The Blackwell School is a former de facto segregated school for Mexican Americans located in Marfa, Texas. Following years of advocacy by a local coalition of school alumni and community members, the Blackwell School was designated in October 2022. For members of that community, this incredible milestone helped memorialize this experience. Let's take a look.
Blackwell has a lot of significance for me. We have a lot of people who are happy to come back to see us, to be part of this. It's still part of them.
So the Blackwell School tells a story of segregated Mexican American education. And that's a story that is not as well known as other stories, as other forms of segregation.
I noticed it was just Hispanics in this school. The Anglos going to another school, I couldn't understand what that was. And I felt like we weren't good enough. That's how people made us feel like we weren't good enough. And I used to say, not good enough about what? What did I do? Other than being born Hispanic.
There aren't enough spaces in America that tell the really diverse and rich history and the complicated history of America.
Out of the 431 units of the National Park Service, only 2 tell the story of contemporary Latino history.
And I think to be able to have the opportunity to do that storytelling through one of our nation's greatest storytellers, through the National Park Service, is an opportunity that doesn't get to happen very often.
It's very special, the fact that alumni were able to come here and preserve their history, because they had every right to let this building be demolished, every right.
I see us stepping up into the roles that will define how current and future generations interact and understand our shared history. This isn't always easy, as so many of us know. It's difficult and emotional work that challenges us. But thankfully, on occasions like today, it's also very joyous work.
And nobody knew it would end up here, but it ended up here. President Biden signed it into law. I mean, we've gone a long way from making plans for a reunion to making plans for this.
Our partnership with the National Parks Conservation Association has been absolutely instrumental in ensuring the preservation of the Blackwell School National Historic Site well into the future.
Just because it's established and now a unit of the National Park Service, that it's not done, right? The work isn't done. There's still much more that needs to happen here on site, but in the community.
It's just a moment that I don't think any of us could have ever imagined in our wildest dreams, but I'm so glad to be here today to be able to say that we did it, and we're going to continue to tell this story well into the future.
It's been done. It's been done. It's something to be very proud of. I'm very proud, very happy.
We love camping, we love flowers, we love parks. Wesley, age 5. So Wesley, good for you. We got them all. We got camps, we got flowers, we got parks. I used to say the Park Service illuminates the landscape, all right? I think the reason that's an important word, illuminates, is they're not changing the landscape, they're just shining a light on it and telling a story about it that people might miss if the story wasn't told. The National Parks Conservation Association set up places where visitors made out postcards, so that's what's sitting here in front of me, is some of those postcards. Most of the magic and wonder in my life I have experienced in nature. Thank you for defending our land and keeping it wild. Looking at the Tetons, hiking through glacier, hiking in the Grand Canyon, standing on one of those ridges at Gettysburg can make you speechless. There is this meaning beyond words that the parks can invoke. Thank you for all that you do to protect our public land. I know that times are challenging, but please know that you are so appreciated. Well, what else is there to say? I mean, that's important to tell park employees because they feel so threatened. The National Park Service, not surprisingly, is a service organization. And to be a service organization, you need people and you need good people. And fortunately, the Park Service has no trouble attracting good people. So to the extent that these reductions remove people from that equation, trained people, dedicated people who are devoted to telling the park story or protecting the park resources, the results could be catastrophic. There's just no question about it in my mind. I think it just shows that the public love their parks, but they also know that it takes a service to run those parks and that they appreciate that. They appreciate that, and they should appreciate it. People work hard to protect these parks and to tell the story of these parks. And they make sacrifices to do that. And they should know that these people at the National Parks Conservation Association brought together on Action Day are willing to express that appreciation to them.
To be a service organization, you need people and good people. What a good statement. Not only do we know that there's good people at NPS, there's also amazing people at NPCA, but it takes more than just us to be good people. It takes all of you as well. That was former Deputy Director of the National Park Service and NPCA board member, Denny Galvin, reading some heartfelt postcards to NPS staff that were collected during our previous Day of Action. Now we're heading to New York City to join Lauren Cosgrove, NPCA's Northeast Campaign Director. Hi, Lauren. It's nice to see you. Where are you joining us from
Terry, good to see you too. Calling in from South Brooklyn on the edges of Jamaica Bay, which is part of Gateway National Recreation Area.
Amazing. The concrete jungle of New York. It's pretty different from Yosemite and Yellowstone, I would say, which is what I think most people think about when they go to a national park. I'm curious, why is it so important to reach park advocates in big cities like New York?
Well, Darius, I think you're exactly right. A lot of people associate the national parks with large landscapes out west or wildlife in the Everglades, but there's so much amazing history and amazing places to visit right here in New York. There are places that are instrumental and foundational for the founding of America, from turning points of the Revolutionary War and battlefields like Saratoga National Historical Site, to our nation's first capital, where George Washington was first inaugurated as president at Federal Hall National Monument. There are places like the women's struggle for the right to vote, preserved at Women's Rights National Historical Park, and also history like Black history in New York City, preserved at the African Burial Ground National Memorial in Manhattan. So these places are so essential, they're embedded in our communities, and as we're walking to work or walking to school, they offer people a place to stop, sit, and reflect on the amazing history of our nation, and they also help people feel connected to what makes us a shared heritage in America.
I think that underlining specifically of not only the historical fact, but also I think you brought up a really good point, community. And as I hear the wobble in the background, I think that obviously shows just how much community shows up, not just for our national parks, but for each other. And on that note, I'm curious, why are urban parks such an important part of our national park system? Not just from this idea of community and from this idea of telling our national historical sites and stories, but what is really important about them and why should people care about them?
Well, a large part of what we do is building advocates for the national park, is meeting people where they are. So that's why we're here today in South Brooklyn at a community park on the edges of Jamaica Bay, welcoming hundreds of senior citizens who live in this community to introduce places like Gateway and Jamaica Bay as the national park in their own backyard. You can live in the city your whole life and not know that there's national parks within a stone's throw. And so it's essential if we want to do our good work to preserve and protect the national parks for present and future generations, that we're tabling at community events, that we're showing up and we're listening to the residents that are right here because they know what's best on how we can better protect these places. And so one of the things that we're doing today is we're collecting these postcards, which are thank you letters to the park rangers that work here at Gateway, because so many people are going for school visits or for trips with their senior centers. And we're just giving an opportunity for people to give back to the Park Service staff that work so hard to protect these places. And that goes beyond just Jamaica Bay and Gateway. As I was mentioning, there's some amazing national parks in Manhattan, in the Bronx, in New Jersey, in Massachusetts. And we're one of the most populated areas of the country. And so we have to have a presence here, and we're working shoulder to shoulder with the folks that live right on the doorstep of these places.
Meeting the community where they are and also working shoulder to shoulder is such an important part to mention, I believe, when working with our advocates and our community members when fighting for the rights of our national parks. It's something that I know very closely as I work with Pullman National Historical Park, where we go by what we say, working at the speed of trust. And that trust is not just built simply by popping into a place and telling them what they should believe in or trust in or fight for. It's helping them learn about the history of that place, helping them fall in love with the people, the story, and being proud of where they come from. And I know that as speaking about where they come from, you're in New York right now. And if people do know about National Historical Parks, one of the ones they know about the most is Stonewall National Monument, the only national park site that is primarily dedicated to telling LGBTQ history. I'm curious, why is that so important for our country, and what are some of the challenges we face specifically with Stonewall?
It's a great question, Terry. It's one of the most important reasons why Stonewall exists as a unit of our National Park Service is because, as you said, it is the only park in the entire system of over 430 that is designated to protect and preserve the history and the contributions of the LGBTQ community. In Stonewall Inn, which is a site in Manhattan, it is the birthplace of LGBTQ rights. And all people deserve to visit our national parks and feel represented and seen. Our national parks showcase American history, and LGBTQ history is a part of American history. And so while Stonewall is the only site dedicated to this, it is so important because of that, and we're going to continue to work strong to defend that history.
Absolutely love that. American history is all of our history. And yes, like I said before, a lot of people know about Stonewall, but as people look specifically to the Northeast, what are some of the national parks that you think that should be on people's bucket list? Not just the really amazing ones that look beautiful and scenic, but what are some of those national historical parks that they may take home and be able to really cherish and adore that history that is all of our history?
My favorite question. Well, you've probably heard of some of the iconic sites in the Northeast, including Acadia National Park in Maine or Cape Cod National Seashore on the shore of Boston, Massachusetts. But I want to highlight some underrepresented parks in our system that are my favorite. So first is Gateway National Recreation Area, which has 3 units in New York and New Jersey. It's an amazing site that includes a wildlife refuge right in Brooklyn and Queens. And you can come out and visit and not even feel like you're in New York City. And the other one that I like to highlight for folks is the Thomas Edison National Historic Site in New Jersey. This is a unique place where you can go and actually visit the library and the laboratory where Thomas Edison had some of the most amazing inventions, such as the light bulb and rubber. It has the second largest collection of artifacts and archives for a single park unit in the National Park Service. So if you're in New Jersey, don't be remiss to miss out on visiting Thomas Edison National Historical Park.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us here today. And I really hope that as we move from what sounds like from the wobble to the Cupid shuffle, that you not only get to be arm in arms and shoulder to shoulder with our community, but they hopefully teach you a few dance moves along the way. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Darius.
People that are outdoorsmen and women to their core, the people that fish and hike and hunt and camp, are the ones that share the deepest connection with wild places and wild things. I grew up fly fishing for brook trout in Shenandoah, and some of my favorite memories are kind of being on the stream with my dad and my brother. The cool thing about national parks is that it provides everybody with the opportunity to kind of make whatever that moment for them is happen, and whether that's learning about history or wildflowers or birds. Losing rangers is going to make DIY trips to parks a lot more difficult, and they're the ones that are going to point you in the right direction, that are going to give you the information that you need to know. Have your 5 closest friends or your family call a member of Congress. It's amazing what 6 phone calls can do to a congressional office. Six phone calls, I know from experience, raises something to the level of, ooh, this is something our constituents care about. Parks don't exist without people who care about them. And the more people that are involved, the better off parks are going to be.
Backpacking in places like Glacier, Kings Canyon, Yosemite, Great Smoky Mountains, or along the Appalachian Trail, the Park Service is an important touch point for folks getting ready to go in the backcountry. You know, what's happening today with cuts to park staffing is going to impact us all. We're already starting to see cuts to these vital resources that help Americans enjoy their national parks when they go to visit and get a little off the beaten path. The people who are working daily to protect those resources, when they're gone, we start to lose the resources that you cherish and came to your parks to see. When we don't have that, we're losing a lot about what makes America a special place. Across the political spectrum, Americans care about national parks. And when we collectively push back that we don't want to see our national parks diminished, that we want to see rangers there when we arrive, and want to know they're available when we need their help, we stand to lose a lot right now. And it's important that you reach out to policymakers and let them know that protecting these spaces, protecting the people who are doing the work every day, day in, day out to protect these resources is important to you.
Being in New York, it's such a hustle. Everyone's in a rush, everyone's doing something. It can be overwhelming. That moment when you just step into the park, it's almost like all the noise, all the background noise of everyone's conversation sort of like dissipates, and then it's just you and the grass. It's you and the trees, it's you and the flowers. Just for a little while, forget that you're in a city, and that's a beautiful thing. My name is Talisa Almonte, and I'm a multidisciplinary artist based in Queens. It's probably the best part about being an artist in New York is knowing that like New York City itself is my canvas. With all of my work, really, I use a lot of vibrant colors. I think a lot of that comes from my background, like my Latin background. I grew up with my dad, who was an artist, so I always watched him. I think for as long as I can remember, I've always been drawing. For me, I don't see being an artist as like a profession. I just see it as like who I am, like it's an extension of myself. I think whenever art can align with making change, that to me feels like a step in the right direction. So my earliest memory with a national park was visiting the Muir Woods National Monument. I was about like 17 years old when I went there, and it was just incredible. I even tried to hug one of the trees, and I was just like, I can't believe like I'm not even like a quarter of the size. It's something that has stayed with me even after all that time. Parks in general kind of feel like a safe space. It isn't for any type of person, it's for everyone. And I think that's what makes it really special. You can go and visit any park, any national monument, and it's there for you. And I think that that's like a really beautiful thing. It's just like a welcoming space for all. With my piece, so I used a lot of like vibrant colors. I did a little research on some of the florals that grow in Muir Woods. So I wanted to incorporate that into the piece as like a little homage to the space. And then after visiting the Liberty Park, I ended up adding little daisies that we found walking through the space, just as a little nod to New York City. It was just really kind of inspiring to be in that space. As an immigrant myself, like just knowing that that space served as like the beacon of hope. I just feel like in general, all parks kind of feel like a little beacon of hope. It's a little space where you can kind of reconnect back to yourself and to the world around you. In the next 250 years of America, I would love to see even more parks, honestly. You know, it's important to protect the legacy of parks, to protect the culture. I think it's just a really special thing.
Anyone who knows me knows that I love to hug a good tree. So thank you so much, Elisa Talmonte, for not only that artistic perspective, but giving me a really great memory that took me back, honestly, to undergrad, where I gained the nickname Father Nature. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that wonderful artistic perspective. And next, we're headed to Northern California, where we're joined by Natalie Levine, Clean Air Campaign Director at NPCA. Hi, Natalie. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Natalie, can you hear me?
I tell my story on walls in a modern way as a muralist. As a Native American artist, I am putting my handprint, my petroglyph onto those walls and saying we are still here. Hi, my name is Lynette Houses. I am an artist here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I am 3 tribes, Apache, Diné, and Pueblo. So my homelands are here in the Southwest between Arizona and New Mexico. I would describe my art style as definitely native contemporary. For this piece, I use digital illustration, just creating with my iPad. Working in digital art, is definitely different from muralism because it's more intimate, just being really precise on like the colors of the land and trying to get that beautiful Southwest landscape. And I think that's cool when I'm working in digital art. My parks piece is about Chaco Canyon, a place that many native tribes here hold sacred. It's in our history and it's part of our stories and it's part of our culture. Chaco Canyon and many parks hold sacred sites and are held to preserve a lot of native culture and history. That's also preserving American history, Native American history. And that's very powerful because we need to know of who we are and be proud of who we are. I think it's important for people to know that places like Chaco Canyon and our beautiful parks that we love to go and visit and reconnect to the land, a lot of them are being threatened right now. And so I think it's important to raise awareness to that and to preserve our parks. Preserve its beauty, its culture, not only for us, but for future generations. It's been 250 years. 250 years of resilience, really. But for the next 250 years, I'm hopeful. I would love to see the parks flourish. I would love to see more people visit and feel that connection to the land and themselves and their spirit. As Native people, we're always taught to think about the 7 generations that will come after us. So how we live today, we think about how 7 generations are going to live. What we do today will affect them. The plants and the animals and the land, the water. They do have a voice if you just listen.
Thinking from that 7 generations perspective, we live today to think about how that would affect those who live in the future 7 generations beyond us. What an amazing story, an amazing ideology to share, not only within Native communities, but also with all communities, as I hope that our national parks are here for many more generations beyond me. As you all know, Natalie wasn't necessarily able to join us. Our national parks are vast and wide, and sometimes connection isn't great. But we're heading back to DC to check in with Charlie. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Terrius, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. What can you tell us about your visit to the Department of Interior?
Well, I can tell you that we've got some good news, and a little bit of bad news. Good news is weather's still great here, not as sweaty as it could have been. Bad news is there was unfortunately nobody available at the Department of the Interior to accept our petition. But nobody has to fret here at NPCA. We always have a backup plan. We love redundancy. So I've brought my trusty laptop here, and I'm actually going to digitally send the petition with you all watching to the folks at the Department of the Interior, and I'm going to hit send right now.
The DOI wasn't able to accept them, but where there is no one way, there can always be another. But I also know that we will be continuously successful in our advocacy work because we are at NPCA. We never give up. And I want to know just how is NPCA going to send these signatures beyond, or like continue to campaign for these signatures and to campaign for the rights of our parks beyond specifically submitting this digital package?
Yeah, Terrius. So as I mentioned before, now that we've submitted this petition to the Department of the Interior, we're asking all of the park lovers and park advocates who signed on to this petition to DOI, and even more who are interested in protecting our parks, to sign our follow-up petition urging Congress to act to ensure park staff are restored and ensure parks have funding. Along with that, you can find that petition. I'm sure some of my colleagues have put that in the link in the comments for wherever you are watching this live stream. But along with that, please talk to your neighbor, talk to your local government officials, your local chamber of commerce. If you're watching this, talk to folks out on the ground about the need for park staffing and park funding, and ask them to urge their member of Congress to take action as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for this update and for representing NPCA members on the ground in Washington, D.C. today. We really appreciate you and all of our members who are fighting hard to protect our national parks. Thank you so much, Charlie. As you may have seen recently, the federal government has unfortunately begun construction of border wall infrastructure at sites along the U.S.-Mexico border, including at Oregon Pipe Cactus National Monument and the Big Bend National Park. These images have been hard to watch, and NPCA has been working tirelessly to advocate for the protection of these treasured landscapes. Some good news, our advocacy work is working. This destructive development has been temporarily paused at Big Bend. Our Texas and Oklahoma Associated Director, Erica Pelletier, is currently in the region and sent us a brief update from the ground. Let's take a look.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erica Pelletier, and I am out here at the beautiful Santa Elena Canyon in Big Bend that I have been working for the last 16 years with NPCA and partners to protect. As you've seen in the news in the last couple of days, there have been bulldozers in the park tearing up things that were supposed to be here and protected for generations to come. But with your support, we've been able to protect these lands, and we hope to continue to do that. Your voices have been heard, and we've been able to pause construction, at least for now, and we hope that that victory continues. So thank you so much for participating in this day of action. We hope you have a great and wonderful day, and make sure and tell a ranger thank you. Bye.
Thanks so much, Erica, for the update and for your continued work to protect Big Bend. This place means so much to people across the country, as do many other national park sites. Now we're headed to West Virginia to check in with Sam Nyagard, Appalachian Senior Program Manager with NPCA, who is at Net River Gorge National Park and Preserve. Hey, Sam.
Hi there.
Oh, it's great to
How are
see
you?
you. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, happy to be here from beautiful West Virginia, America's newest national park, New River Gorge National Park and Preserve.
Amazing. So talk to us. Tell us what it's like to be there and where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome. We are in the free speech zone of New River Gorge. So welcome. We also have cookie cake to celebrate the National Park Service's 110th birthday. But in addition to celebrating 110 years of our national park, we're also encouraging folks, this is the time more than ever to speak up for their parks. So we just had folks writing thank you cards to park rangers. We have folks signing our petition to let Congress know that our parks are worth protecting, as well as our park staff are worth speaking up for.
Amazing. And I know it doesn't necessarily have that new car smell, but as one of the newest parks, I'm curious, what are some of your favorite features about the park and that people should look forward to when visiting?
Oh yeah, when you're visiting, it would be remiss if you didn't see the iconic New River Gorge Bridge, which is 876 feet above the New River, one of the oldest rivers in the world. So you can enjoy whitewater rafting, but there's also scenic overlooks if you don't want to see the bridge from down below. And if you're not,
oh, go ahead. Sorry, continue.
Oh yeah, no. I'm like, there's so much to do and explore, whether you like hiking, biking, or
amazing. And it sounds like not only are there so many things to do, but there's so many people there as well. From the people writing letters to enjoying our wonderful features and nature, what are some of the things that you're hearing from folks who are stopping by the table today?
Things that is always heartwarming to hear is park visitors love to share their favorite park experiences. So a lot of I love envious that they've gotten to experience Alaska and seeing those glaciers, but a lot of folks have want to see. You want to go to national park. You like know that you want them to be here for dinner. So that's what we're know. They need to do their part to protect them.
As much as they love our parks, they also need to protect them. I think I couldn't have said it better myself. Also, I'm happy to hear that so many people are on the ground specifically looking to visit national parks and have bucket lists for which ones they want to visit. I know for me personally, and I'm pretty sure for you as well, Sam, that you also have a passport that you get stamped at the visitor center. And I hope others are doing that to not only commemorate their visit, but to also remind them what's available to them and what we hope that others can also enjoy as we go into the future and fight for our national parks and their protection. So Sam, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to have you. And it's great to see you've had so many visitors stop by, and we hope that you connect with many more folks throughout the end of the Day of Action.
Thank you.
I think that's what Joshua Tree and all the national parks do, is serve as this baseline for, this is what it would look like if we weren't here. And it's nice to have that baseline because it's so beautiful. My name is Aaron Zolpo. I am an artist. I was born in Illinois, and now I live in Dana Point, California. Being an artist and going out and capturing nature is, especially here in the United States, is an act of preserving. And every time you make a painting about this, you're kind of making a stance. You're saying, look, this is really important. It's inspiring. So when I'm in Joshua Tree, it's very quiet. It's very calm. And everything seems like everything can be identified as its own character, as it's framed. So it's really easy for me to hone into on a tree or a rock. By observing things that I enjoyed, I could basically research why I liked it. Like why do I even look at something? And that helps me grow in my painting practice, because nature is pretty versatile, and every time you go out, you can capture something new or experience something new, and it does affect you long term. Painting is a pretty slow process for most people, so it makes you sit in one spot, look at it, but you build memories, and those memories will help inspire other people to come out and paint. That will help people come and want to preserve the national park. So I think painting is a perfect way to experience the national park. For the next 250 years for the parks, I just hope they continue to expand and more people get to go see them, and their importance is never forgotten.
I may not be a painter, but I am a poet. And so it's really important to notice that the things that Aaron shared specifically are based in memory and creating those memories within our national parks. And for me, that's through poetry, but I hope for many of you that you have your own way to share and also remember those experiences that you have in our national parks so that others can fall in love with them just as much as you do. All right, now we're going back to Northern California, where we're going to be joined by Natalie Levine, our Clean Air Campaign Director at NPCA. Hey, Natalie, are you there?
Yes, can you see me?
I can hear you and I can see you. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about where you are?
Yeah, I am at Muir Woods, the cathedral of the redwood trees. Away from those parties in New York City, we are in the quiet of the coast redwoods. Muir Woods was established in 1908, and it protects some of the tallest, oldest redwood trees in the world. And we're here just saying hi to people as they're coming into the monument.
With some of the tallest and oldest trees in the woods, I can understand why the connection wasn't working earlier. So can you tell us a little bit about the Day of Action and how it's going so far, and with some of those people that you're meeting, and have the visitors you've spoken with been in support of our Park Service staff?
They are. We've only been out here for about an hour because it's the morning time, but we've got a lot of people coming by our table, signing the petition, thanking the rangers. A lot of people are really concerned about the staffing cuts to the Park Service, and we're trying to educate them on what's been happening and start to get them involved in NPCA's work as well.
Amazing. I'm happy to hear the support is on the ground and people are really not only inspired by the work that we're doing, but also showing our great support and appreciation for our park staff. I'm curious in particular, California has so many amazing national parks. What makes Muir Woods specifically so special?
It's so special because it's just a little pocket of joy right next to the city. I think it's about 10 miles from downtown San Francisco. So you can be here in a jiff. You can get out of the city, get into the redwoods. It's quiet, it's calm. There's a creek running through the monument. But it's also part of a much larger landscape of the whole Mount Tamalpais watershed. So there's state park lands and county parks all surrounding the monument. So it's a very protected ecosystem. And it's just beautiful. It's a place to get some quiet. We're not having a big party like out in New York. We're just calm. We're with the trees. We're hanging out and we're just enjoying the day.
Awesome. I know that you mentioned specifically that it's really close to San Francisco, and many of our amazing national parks are very close to large urban areas. And I know that you specifically work on clean air issues. People might just already assume that all of our national parks already have clean air. I'm curious though, what makes this work so important?
So you're right. A lot of people think some of our big natural national parks have some of the best air in the country, but that's just not true. NPCA analyzed some Park Service data 2 years ago, and 98% of national parks suffer from air quality concerns. And that's across the country, big parks, little parks, urban parks, rural parks. Because air has no boundaries. So it doesn't know that it's crossing state lines. It doesn't know it's going into a national park. And so a power plant down the road, hundreds of miles away, might be spewing out emissions that impact our parks nearby. Cars, trucks, all sorts of different industrial facilities can impact national park air really far away. So it's important that we stand up for our parks, we speak for our parks. They don't have a voice all the time. And so please just get involved with us as you can. We work for clean air in parks and communities all across the country.
Air has no boundaries. We all need it. We need it to live. We need to survive, not just us, but the animals that live alongside of us as well. And it's a really amazing work that you're doing and a really good reminder to us of why protecting our national parks and also doing this amazing work to also protect clean air. It's very important. Thank you so much for joining us today, Natalie. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of the Day of Action.
Yeah.
See ya.
People that are outdoorsmen and women to their core, the people that fish and hike and hunt and camp, are the ones that share the deepest connection with wild places and wild things. I grew up fly fishing for brook trout in Shenandoah, and some of my favorite memories are kind of being on the stream with my dad and my brother. The cool thing about national parks is that it provides everybody with the opportunity to kind of make whatever that moment for them is happen. And whether that's learning about history or wildflowers or birds, losing rangers is gonna make DIY trips to parks a lot more difficult. And they're the ones that are gonna point you in the right direction, that are gonna give you the information that you need to know. Have your 5 closest friends or your family call a member of Congress. It's amazing what 6 phone calls can do to a congressional office. Six phone calls, I know from experience, raises something to the level of, ooh, this is something our constituents care about. Parks don't exist without people who care about them. And the more people that are involved, the better off parks are gonna be.
Another wonderful reminder that parks don't exist without the people who care about them. And I know one of those amazing people who care deeply about those parks as we're headed to Ohio, where we're being joined by NPCA's Senior Regional Director and my personal boss and favorite, Crystal Davis. Hey, Crystal, it's great to see you.
Hey, Terrius, how are you?
I'm wonderful. It's so nice to see you. How's it going?
It's been a fabulous day. We spent a lot of time at Cuyahoga Valley National Park where we had over 100 people out. And now we're at the James A. Garfield National Historic Monument here, National Historic Site, right here in Mentor, Ohio.
Amazing. Sounds like you all have had a lot of people visit and some really great traction. What can visitors expect when they come to visit this site specifically?
The Garfield site is really amazing. I know that President Garfield only lived 6 months into his presidency, but they have maintained his home and presidential library here in Ohio. And it's just amazing to walk the grounds and think about the stories that once happened in this area.
And that's really important to note because while many folks may only think about what we like to refer to as a 63 capital N, capital P, national parks, the National Park Service manages more than 430 sites, including historic sites like Garfield. Why is it so important for us to preserve these cultural heritage and historical sites?
We have to make sure that we understand where we've been to know where we can go. And so we have memorialized these amazing sites to tell history and tell America's full story.
Amazing. And as you already know, as the senior director for the Midwest and where I live, my personal home, what are some of the other parks in the Midwest region that folks might be interested in visiting as well?
Did you plant this question so I can shout out Pullman National Historical Park? I feel like you did.
You already know it, my favorite place.
Yeah, Pullman is one of our amazing parks that tell the labor story of America. We have Cuyahoga Valley National Park, Sleeping Bear Dunes, the Mississippi River National River and Recreation Area. So many amazing parks right here that make up the Midwest and the 11-state span. 53 national parks and monuments right in our region.
So many places to see in the Midwest, and already such a great region. As we say, Midwest is the best. And obviously, there's so many people in the Midwest visiting our national parks and there with you today. And I'm curious, you've been out in the park all day talking to visitors. Have the people you've spoken with been in support of our staff?
Oh my goodness. They have been just overwhelmed with support. They love what we're doing. They thanked us and thanked rangers. We've collected hundreds of cards that are going to go to park rangers to thank them for the work that they're doing. We've seen people from as far as New York drove into Ohio today to work with us and celebrate with us. And then also we had a bus full of folks from Germany, and they took pictures and talked about the importance of national parks as well.
So it's very clear that our national parks are not just important for Americans, but anyone who loves America. From within the United States to outside the United States, it's a very special thing that we have, and it's worth protecting every day. Thank you so much, Crystal, for joining us today. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day at Action with so many people, as I know you've never met a stranger. So I hope so many people fall in love even deeper with national parks today. Thank you, Crystal.
Absolutely. Thanks.
We love camping, we love flowers, we love parks. Wesley, age 5. So Wesley, good for you. We got them all. We got camps, we got flowers, we got parks.
Wesley.
I used to say the Park Service illuminates the landscape, all right? I think the reason that's an important word, illuminates, is they're not changing the landscape, they're just shining a light on it and telling a story about it that people might miss if the story wasn't told. The National Parks Conservation Association set up places where visitors made out postcards, so that's what's sitting here in front of me is some of those postcards. Most of the magic and wonder in my life I have experienced in nature. Thank you for defending our land and keeping it wild. Looking at the Tetons, hiking through Glacier, hiking in the Grand Canyon, standing on one of those ridges at Gettysburg can make you speechless. There is this meaning beyond words that the parks can invoke. Thank you for all that you do to protect our public land. I know that times are challenging, but please know that you are so appreciated. Well, what else is there to say? I mean, that's important to tell park employees because they feel so threatened. The National Park Service, not surprisingly, is a service organization. And to be a service organization, you need people and you need good people. And fortunately, the Park Service has no trouble attracting good people. So to the extent that these reductions remove people from that equation, trained people, dedicated people who are devoted to telling the park story or protecting the park resources, the results could be catastrophic. There's just no question about it in my mind. I think it just shows that the public love their parks, but they also know that it takes a service to run those parks and that they appreciate that. They appreciate that, and they should appreciate it. People work hard to protect these parks and to tell the story of these parks. And they make sacrifices to do that, And they should know that these people at the National Parks Conservation Association brought together on Action Day are willing to express that appreciation to them.
Being in New York, it's such a hustle. Everyone's in a rush, everyone's doing something. It can be overwhelming. That moment when you just step into the park, it's almost like all the noise, all the background noise of everyone's conversation sort of like dissipates, and then it's just you and the grass. It's you and the trees, it's you and the flowers. Just for a little while, forget that you're in a city, and that's a beautiful thing. My name is Tulisa Almonte, and I'm a multidisciplinary artist based in Queens. It's probably the best part about being an artist in New York is knowing that like New York City itself is my canvas. With all of my work, really, I use a lot of vibrant colors. I think a lot of that comes from my background, like my Latin background. I grew up with my dad, who was an artist, so I always watched him. I think for as long as I can remember, I've always been drawing. For me, I don't see being an artist as like a profession. I just see it as like who I am, like it's an extension of myself. I think whenever art can align with making change, that to me feels like a step in the right direction. So my earliest memory with a national park was visiting the Muir Woods National Monument. I was about like 17 years old when I went there, and it was just incredible. I even tried to hug one of the trees, and I was just like, I can't believe like I'm not even like a quarter of the size. It's something that has stayed with me even after all that time. Parks in general kind of feel like a safe space. It isn't for any type of person, it's for everyone. And I think that's what makes it really special. You can go and visit any park, any national monument, and it's there for you. And I think that that's like a really beautiful thing. It's just like a welcoming space for all. With my piece, so I used a lot of like vibrant colors. I did a little research on some of the florals that grow in Muir Woods. So I wanted to incorporate that into the piece as like a little homage to the space. And then after visiting the Liberty Park, I ended up adding little daisies that we found walking through the space, just as a little nod to New York City. It was just really kind of inspiring to be in that space. As an immigrant myself, like just knowing that that space served as like the beacon of hope. I just feel like in general, all parks kind of feel like a little beacon of hope. It's a little space where you can kind of reconnect back to yourself and to the world around you. In the next 250 years of America, I would love to see even more parks, honestly. You know, it's important to protect the legacy of parks, to protect the culture. I think it's just a really special thing.
Backpacking in places like Glacier, Kings Canyon, Yosemite, Great Smoky Mountains, or along the Appalachian Trail, the Park Service is an important touch point for folks getting ready to go in the backcountry. You know, what's happening today with cuts to park staffing is going to impact us all. We're already starting to see cuts to these vital resources that help Americans enjoy their national parks when they go to visit and get a little off the beaten path. The people who are working daily to protect those resources, when they're gone, we start to lose the resources that you cherish and came to your parks to see. When we don't have that, we're losing a lot about what makes America a special place. Across the political spectrum, Americans care about national parks. And when we collectively push back that we don't want to see our national parks diminished, that we want to see rangers there when we arrive and want to know they're available when we need their help, we stand to lose a lot right now. And it's important that you reach out to policymakers and let them know that protecting these spaces, protecting the people who are doing the work every day, day in, day out to protect these resources is important to you.
Across the political spectrum, people care about our national parks. This is not a right issue. This is not a left issue. It's a people issue. We all want to see our national parks thrive and want them to be protected not only for us currently, but for future generations. What an amazing, another great expression of why our national parks are worth protecting. The final 2 videos from our United by Parks artist sessions will be available in the next few weeks. You can learn more about them at npca.org/unitedbyparks. We're almost at the end of today's live stream, but before we go, we're headed to one more of America's most iconic national parks, Yosemite. Today, we're being joined by Awani Williams, our Western Tribal Field Representative for the Northern Rockies region, and Katie Shea, our Tribal Policy Fellow at the National Park Conservation Association. Takuni Awani and Katie, it's great to see you.
For sure, Nikon. Hello, friends.
Good to see you as well.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about where you are?
Well, as you can see, we're in the iconic Yosemite Valley. We are here in the valley tabling, celebrating the Park Service's 110th birthday.
Absolutely. We're posted up out front of the Exploration Center, formerly known as the Visitor Center. And we have a little bit of Yosemite ASMR. We have some of the yard buses going. We have happy families going up and down the footpath, bikes whizzing past us, and the branches flowing beautifully in the breeze.
Ah, what an amazing scenic view. And I love a good ASMR moment. And I know specifically it's really important for you all to be there today. Specifically, Awani, I know that you have a family connection to Yosemite. What can you tell me?
Yeah, well, thank you for that. You know, coming to Yosemite is just so deeply ingrained into who I am and my culture. My great-grandmother was born here in Yosemite, along with her mother and her grandmother, dating back to 1830. So, you know, when you think about national parks are ancestral homelands to tribal people. So it's something that I'm very proud of. And, you know, we need to keep protecting these sacred places.
Protecting these sacred places is obviously something that's not only important to NPCA, and I know it's a personal care for you as well, and me. And I'm curious, I know that over the time of you having this family connection to Yosemite, do you have any favorite areas or special memories that you want to share?
Yeah. Well, Tenaya Lake, for one, is a very special place to me. It's where my ancestors and today my family practices ceremony. It's very near and dear to my heart. And a few weeks ago, my sister actually got married on the beach of Tenaya Lake. So it's something that,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. But throughout the valley, there's so many special places from where my family comes from and just different areas, stories that have been passed down, things that we've known in our family that have happened in the park, and all of it is sacred and special.
I think that's so important to share, especially with your personal connection to Yosemite in particular. But I also know that, for example, Katie, I know that you don't necessarily have a familial connection to Yosemite, but you've already and still continue to fall in love with the area and other national parks. Can you share a special memory or anything that you've learned since you've been there that you think people should know?
Oh, goodness, Terrius. I could be here all day, but it's just a very wonderful connection because I was here just about 10 years ago in the valley working on the conservation corps, working on the trails, being here, visiting the museum, actually learning about Awani's family in this very museum, and to be able to steward the land that has been stewarded by Awani's relatives and ancestors for centuries, this time in millennia, really. And to have a role in such a famed trail crew, be able to hike Half Dome at 17 years old and just carry on that voice of the spirit of what Yosemite is. And then now, 10 years later, being joined with a really good friend of mine, advocating for a place that's very special, not just to me, but to her as well. Even though these beautiful towering trees and granite makes us feel small, our voice is so important. I think that's a memory that carries with me still to today, protecting our park and elevating that voice to not just share like our stories and why this place is important, but why it really needs to be protected for generations to come.
Our national parks are not just a place of connection. It's a place of our history and a place of where people go to not only understand our America and why we should love it, but also to be able to connect with others and hopefully have some familiar connection or build new memories to share with our family in the future. I'm curious, before we let you all go, if there's anything that somebody should leave from the Day of Action today, what should they take with them? What would be your number one thing that you would tell them?
Well, I do, like I mentioned, all parks are on sacred land. And I think that, partnering with organizations such as ours, NPCA, and tribal partners that's so important in protecting these beautiful places.
I couldn't say it better myself. I think it really comes down to not just partnership, but really working in coalitions and just elevating all of these voices, because we can't do it alone. It truly takes all of us.
I 100% agree with you. Not only with our tribal partners, but all of our partners related to all of our national parks, both scenic and historic, are really important to work side by side with. And I really appreciate you all taking the time to remind us what's important about our national parks. It's not just a place, but the people and the stories that they hold as well. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible personal stories. And I hope that you all enjoy the rest of the Day of Action.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, today has been such an incredible day for NPCA and for all of you and our members. As we showed up at national parks across the country, what an incredible way to celebrate National Park Week. Again, we're grateful for our members and supporters who help support our ongoing work to protect our treasured landscapes and cultural and heritage sites across the country. Remember, you can become a member today by visiting npca.org/give/join. Your membership again includes a subscription to our quarterly National Parks magazine, exclusive access to park notes, a newsletter filled with the latest news on NPCA's work and events, important issues affecting our national parks, and actions you can take to help, a free welcome gift, and a 10% discount on the NPCA Park Store. And remember, we're giving our live stream viewers today, that's all of you, whether you become a member or not, access to this exclusive discount by using code DAYOFACTION, all capital letters, to receive 10% off through the end of the National Park Week. Please visit npca.org/dayofaction, where you can send your own letter to Congress, find other NPCA events happening through the end of the National Park Week, and learn more about NPCA's work to protect our national parks across the country. Our national parks are nothing if they are not protected by the people who care for them most. Remember to share your stories, continue to advocate for our parks protection, continue to fight for NPS staff, and continue to remember that the things that we enjoy today, the places that we get to sit and really build connection and community, should not only be enjoyed by those of us who are around now, but should be inherited by all generations in the future. My name is Terius Harris once again, and on behalf of all of our staff, thank you so much for tuning in today's live stream. Take care, and we hope to see you at the National Park somewhere near you soon.